All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're breaking down a really fascinating residential concept called Estate 360. And it's being pitched as way more than just a place to live. It's being framed as a potential new blueprint for how modern communities and families can live together. So, to really get what this project is all about, we first have to talk about the core problem it's trying to solve. And honestly, it's a huge dilemma that families pretty much everywhere are dealing with right now. And this is the big question, right? How do you get that family togetherness that so many of us value while also getting the personal space that everyone needs to, just breathe? It is a really, really tough balancing act. I think the source material puts it perfectly. This isn't about some big fight between tradition and modernity. It's more of an evolution. The idea is simple. As our lives change, our homes have to change right along with them. So, what's the proposed answer to this big, modern problem? Well, the project introduces a concept called intentional intergenerational living. Now, that's a bit of a mouthful, I know. So let's unpack what it really means. Okay, the first thing you need to know is the sheer scale of this thing. We're talking about a massive plot of land, almost 12 acres. So right off the bat, you know this isn't some tiny little experiment. This is a huge, fully thought out environment. And when you look at the numbers, you really see just how ambitious this is. You've got 6 different residential buildings. They're planting over 700 trees, 700, and there are more than 60 amenities on site. So yeah, this is way more than just a housing complex. They're literally trying to build a complete ecosystem from the ground up. You know, that word intentional is really the key to the whole thing. This isn't about different age groups just happening to live near each other by chance. No, this whole place is designed from scratch to make them interact, to foster those connections. Everything. The way the buildings are laid out, the activities they offer, it's all built to serve everyone, from grandkids to grandparents. And they point to research that backs this idea up. The goal is to create this symbiotic relationship. For the younger folks, it's about building empathy and kindness and just getting better social skills. And for the seniors, they get companionship, emotional support, and some studies even show that more social contact can lead to better physical health. It really is a win-win for everybody involved. Okay, so that's the big idea. But how do you actually build something like that? Let's get into the physical design, because here, the architecture and the landscaping, they're not just there to look pretty. They're actually the tools being used to create this feeling of well-being. The entire community is built around these 4 main design ideas, or pillars. And the cool thing is how they all work together to create a space that's safe, that feels connected to its culture, that's full of nature, and is, of course, environmentally responsible. The first pillar is a real game changer, and maybe the most impactful one. All the cars, all the traffic, it's all put underground. What that does is it completely frees up the ground level. It becomes this massive, safe, quiet, and low-pollution park, basically. A place where kids and seniors, really anyone, can just walk around, play, and hang out without worrying about cars. Then there's the architecture itself, which is also super intentional. They're using traditional materials like brick and terracotta and these beautiful patterns inspired by Indian jolly work. But here's the thing, it's not just for looks. Those screens, for example, are actually a brilliant way to get natural airflow and control the sunlight coming into the homes. It's smart and beautiful. And this whole idea of well-being doesn't just stop with the people living there. It extends to the planet, too. The project got a platinum pre-certification from the Indian Green Building Council. And just so you know, platinum is the highest rating you can possibly get. It means they're absolutely top of the line when it comes to saving energy, recycling water, and managing waste. All right, so you've got this smart layout and the green design. But to really make this whole intergenerational thing work, you need places for people to actually get together. So let's check out the amenities, because there's a ton of them, and they're all designed to bring people together. The main social center is a place called The Hub. Think of it as the community's living room. It's got a gym, a pool, a spa, places to eat, a game room, pretty much everything you'd need for fitness, fun, and just hanging out. It's that one central spot for everyone to connect. But wait, there's more. There's actually a second clubhouse, the Antara Club, and this one is really focused on the seniors. It's even managed by a company that specializes in senior care. What's really smart, though, is that it also has the main healthcare facilities, like doctors' consultation rooms, which are open to the entire community, not just the seniors. And for anyone who's into sports, there's a whole separate sports block. It's packed with facilities. We're talking outdoor tennis, indoor badminton and squash, a cricket pitch, and even rooftop padel tennis courts, which is pretty cool. So lots of options to stay active.
Okay, so we've covered all the awesome community stuff, but remember that balancing act we talked about at the beginning? What about the other side of the equation, privacy? Let's see how this philosophy carries over into the actual homes where people live.
Well, the focus on privacy literally starts the second you get out of the elevator. Instead of one big, busy lobby for the whole floor, they split it. There are 2 elevator lobbies, and each one only serves 4 apartments. It's a small detail, but it makes a huge difference in cutting down on foot traffic and making it feel more private, more like your own personal space. And that same thoughtful design continues once you're inside your home. The apartments had these huge wraparound decks, so you always have your own private connection to the outdoors. The layouts are smart too. They keep the public spaces like the living and dining rooms separate from the private bedrooms. Plus, you've got these really practical features, like a separate entry for staff and a flex room you can use as an office or for storage, all designed to make daily life just run smoother. Which really brings us back to the big picture question. What we're looking at here is a really comprehensive, thought-out vision that tackles that modern challenge head-on, community versus privacy. So you have to wonder, could this kind of intentional, multi-generational living be the blueprint for how families live in our cities in the future? It's definitely a compelling thought to consider.